One thing that's important to understand is when you think about those terms neo-traditional and new urbanism, they're contradictory terms because neo means new and traditional means old, so it's new old. And what that really means is that at the turn of the century, when neighborhoods really began to develop and we began to transition from a rural society to a more urban society, neighborhoods and towns began to grow, and there were some patterns there, and one of the patterns was that cars were not, pardon the pun, driving the design as much. And then, so you had smaller scale projects, front porches, that sort of thing. And then the automobile began to really dominate after World War II, so communities really began to change, began to be more suburban. And so really the neo-traditional new urbanism is going back to some of those patterns that people were familiar with and comfortable with, but adding new things to them that would suit our lifestyle. So it was really combining a traditional way of patterning land and developments that was a smaller scale, more walkable, more human scale, and but understanding that the car was a fact of life, and that it was a part of what we needed to do. So that was something that we were very conscious of from a land planning standpoint. So in Autumn Hall, you see alleys, for example, and you see a different sort of orientation of the houses to the street. And you also see sidewalks on both sides with generous planting strips and that sort of thing. So the whole scale of the place, that term is probably overused, but it does mean a combining of the old and the new, but the good of the old and the good of the new to create something very positive.